Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. And I think the recording has started. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining us today and welcome to this cuEngage session on how to effectively market your digital services. My name is Klaire Bell and I'm the HR officer here at Wellington IT. So there will be an opportunity to ask any questions at the end. So can I ask that everyone please keeps their mics muted and pops any questions into the chat bar in the meantime. In today's session, we're delighted to hear from three great marketers, Liam O'Doherty from Gurranbraher Credit Union, Klaire Klos from Scottish Police Credit Union, and Padraig from Health Services Staff's Credit Union, who will walk you through their tips on how to effectively market your digital services to your members. Unfortunately, Klaire and Liam could not make the session today. However, they have very kindly pre-recorded the session for you and are happy to take questions offline. So for now, I will pass you over to Liam to officially start the session.
Thanks for that, Ciara. I'll be Liam for a second, just till I share his presentation. Hopefully everyone can see the modern credit union marketer.
No, I can see your Teams, Emma.
Apologies.
Sorry, Liam.
Thanks. Okay, can we see that now?
Yeah,
we can.
Perfect. Actually, let me just include computer sound so you can all hear it. There we go. So that's us then.
Thanks, Emma, and thank you for the opportunity you've given me to talk to my fellow marketeers in the credit union world. I'm always a little bit nervous about talking to you guys because I see the work that a lot of credit unions do, and I don't think you need me to tell you anything different to what you're doing. But what I would like to talk about, I have been in the credit union marketing role here in Gurranbraher Credit Union for the last nearly 6 years. So I've seen some changes and I've seen a lot of people coming to marketing and credit union, bringing an awful lot of enthusiasm and skills, and it's making us better. And I wanted to focus on probably some of the skills that people have brought to the modern credit union marketeer role over the last 5 to 6 years, with a very special emphasis on data analysts. And I do think this is probably the new frontier for us in marketing and in using the data that we have in a much better way than we have done previously. And we've segmented data and we've segmented our members and we've broken them down into who we want to target. But I think data analysts will give us that data analytics will give us that chance to actually take it to the next level. So, some of the roles that I've seen change or become more important over the last 6 years have been things like the strategists and, good quality marketing people coming into the credit union who are able to strategize and be able to get the best out of the marketing that they have. And the marketing strategy is quite simple. There's the 4 P's, and you're probably fully aware of them, and they are product, price, place, and promotion. The product is loan products, and they exist to solve a problem. Price then, which is the rate, and they must be linked to the product's real or perceived value. I've had conversations with people before, and I'm very clear on our rate policy here in Gurranbraher Credit Union is that we don't give away a rate unless we're getting something, and it has to be, term or reduced risk. The mortgage product is a good example of that. Is we give away a rate because we're getting the loan for a much longer time. Giving away a rate, but then giving that to people who maybe have a higher risk, doesn't make an awful lot of sense to me. the places, we determine where and to whom the loan product should be targeted, and that's something I've seen change a lot over the last 6 years. And the promotion, then the channels that we use, they've certainly increased over the last 6 years. Everything from Facebook to Snapchat to Instagram. And if I'm honest, I don't completely understand all of them yet, and how we get the most out of them, but it certainly makes for exciting times. Next thing is that the credit union market here has become a bit of a specialist, an IT specialist, and I don't mean in terms of networks or computers, but the whole digital space, and that then prompts the question then, how do we manage that? Well, that's through marketing information systems, and we use the information then for activity analysis and planning and implementation. And that information is needed so we can distribute it in a timely manner, and we pull together data from very different sources. And this will look familiar to you. We use Scion and CU Insights, social media. We have data coming from Google and email marketing with the call data, and now with the improvements in CU Online Plus and CU Onboarding, we have data coming from all sorts of areas. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail, how we can take data from different sources and be able to use that in one place. I'm not going to spend any time on this because my colleague Padraig from Health Services is going to talk about branding. But it's a very important part of what we do now, and probably has become more important in the last 5 or 6 years. And it just helps us to stand out from a very crowded space. The banks are now going after our customers. The small loans, it's good returns for them. It's good rate for them, so they're in there. So how do we stand out? And I know Padraig's going to talk to you about that a little bit later on. Also with storytelling, Karen will from the Police Credit Union will talk about that, and I think that's been one of the biggest changes is how we tell our story and how we create a narrative to communicate a message, and that aim is to make members feel something special, enough that will inspire them to take action. And we call it call to action, but I think we now have to have that emotional connection for the member to want to actually take that next step. And I'm looking forward to hearing what Karen has to say about how they've done that. Channel specialists, the channels have changed. There's more channels now to get the message out. We have public relations and how we use the local papers. We have digital advertising. We have offline promotions, and they haven't gone away, but all this new digital channels, we still mustn't forget the events that happen in our communities. The Cultivate crew do an awful lot of work now around the marts and at this time of the year in getting out there. We still have to get in front of our members, and it won't just be digital. The paid campaigns, which you're all fully aware of, they allow us to see where our money is spent and what helps us, what works and what doesn't work. The email marketing, again, when I first started, we would have been one of the first credit unions to start using email marketing, and it's hugely important to us. We've integrated it with our website so that we can see what behaviors our members have when they receive an email, and that we get them into a process. When somebody engages with us via email or via our website, we've integrated customer minds, or which 50 is what we use, so that they get a notification, but they don't just get one notification. They get a personalized notification, which might be one when they submit a form, but another one then if they haven't done anything after that form has been submitted. We then look at social media campaigns, and again, you guys know what you're doing here, and it's some great social media campaigns lately, and obviously my colleague down in, or my colleagues in the Cork Credit Union chapter, especially Dominic in Access down in Skibbereen, they created a fantastic video there recently, and that just shows what can happen when people come together. And if you haven't seen it, I certainly would search for it on YouTube, because it's a very, very good, very good video. So that brings me on to my main topic, which is data analytics, and it definitely is the next frontier for us. You know, taking all this data that we have, and when you think about it, you know, the data that we have comes from CU Insights and Cyan, comes from social media analytics and Facebook and Instagram and all the other channels that you use there, Google Analytics, call data, email marketing. Now that's only some of them. You know, we have data on our members and on their the behavior from a whole load of different sources. And one of the difficulties, and I love CU Insights. CU Insights is a great tool for us to get, you know, transactions and loans and all that sort of stuff, but it only gives us that microcosm. It, you know, we need a facility where we take different data from different sources and actually start to look at it in one place. So, you know, what we use is Power BI, and it helps us create dashboards. And we have dashboards for our marketing. We've an operations dashboard, and we have a board dashboard. It allows us to view all the data in one place. It allows us to create bespoke reports and create easy to understand visualizations. So, you know, viewing it all in one place allows us to pull Cyan information, CU Insights information, call data, Facebook, and even CSO data into one place, and then we get to start playing around with it and having a look at it. An example of that would be we start to interrogate and compare data, and I have some simple examples here. So, you know, if we wanted to look at the value of loans issued against the values of loans applied by day, or the number of loans applied, and then maybe pull in some information from Google Analytics as to the number of website hits on our loans, and then look at the type of information on the type of loan, and then obviously looking at the top right hand corner there, you can see, you know, the time frame. We're looking at last week here, but we can go back to 2 weeks ago, or we can go back months, or whatever we want to look at. The next one then is the number of loan calls against the number of loans applied. Very simple, but again, gives us some good information. And then Google Advert costs against new users and the number of loans applied. Very good information. I've just used simple ways here. These are some of the dashboards that we look at. And then the visualizations. Well, look, I've used a very simple example here. On the right-hand side under the fields, you can see the sources of information. So loans applied, emails sent, loans issued, new members, transaction data, account data. But for this, all I've done is I've taken across the number of downloads for the new app, the CU Mobile, and it's Android and Apple, and we can look at that information. But from any of the fields on the right-hand side, if I think they're appropriate, I can pull over information, number of loans applied, all that sort of stuff can all be pulled over. So, you know, it's a fascinating way to start. Number one, when you're planning your strategy, but also looking at how good campaigns have been, or maybe how bad they've been, and to look at them in context. So look, that's a very, very quick way, or a quick example of some of the stuff that we've done, and maybe some of the changes that I've seen over the last number of years. And I'd like to thank Wellington for giving me the chance to talk to you about this. If you're interested, or if anybody's interested in how you use Power BI, you know, and how maybe integrating CU Insights and Power BI, you're more than welcome to give me a call. Emma has my details, and I'm more than happy to talk to you. So I'll just say thanks very much for that, and I hope you enjoyed the other presentations.
All right, well, we obviously pass on our thanks to Liam for that brilliant presentation. As he says, we do have his details, and if there are any questions, feel free to drop him a note. He's more than happy to do that. But for now, I'm going to pass you over to Padraig from the Health Services Staff Credit Union, who is going to talk a little bit about branding.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Firstly, thanks to Liam for a great presentation, and also thanks to Wellington and everyone. So thanks Emma, Rebecca and Ciara for everything today, and also thanks to my colleague Claire from Scottish Police Credit Union, who will be up after me. I am briefly going to go through branding, the importance of branding, and just some examples of HSSCU and how we use branding. So I'm just going to share my screen now, 1 second, so bear with me. Hopefully now, is this okay? Can we all see this?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this briefly, guys. I have a lot of slides and I seem to be a bit chatty, so bear with me. So as I said, we're going to talk about the importance of branding. So to start off, I suppose we'll just talk a little bit about what is branding and the background of branding. So a brand, it's an intangible asset and it helps people identify a company and its products. Essentially, it's what pops into someone's head the second they hear of you, think of you, see you. It's what automatically comes up in someone's mind. And it's also a promise of the benefits and the value that are meaningful and relevant. So essentially, it's how you're different from your competition. What is your brand? It's what someone thinks of you straight away, and what are the unique identifying aspects of yourself. So then why is it important? As you can see here, a little bit of research, but as you can see, a successful brand image, it will enhance your profitability and revenue. And also the fact of splintered media. So Liam actually touched on this in his presentation, in the fact that media has changed. There's a lot of different distribution channels now. So your brand is more important than ever, because you need to have that brand consistency and you need to be identifiable. If you have kind of mediocre brand or a brand that's not consistent around different channels, then you're not going to be getting that enhanced profitability, because you're just not identifiable. You're not going to be what pops into someone's head. You're not going to be what someone thinks of. So a strong brand is really, really important, because it's the peg for your marketing communications. So it's something that ties everything together. What does branding achieve? It achieves message delivery. It achieves business credibility, emotional business to consumer bonds, buyer motivation, consumer loyalty, and easier selling down the line. So you can tell with credit unions, I mean, we are the most trusted financial organization in the country. And with that, we do have the emotional business to consumer bonds, and we do have fantastic consumer loyalty as well. I suppose one of the main challenges for us is getting our brand out there further to different cohorts. But with what we do at present, we are strong. It's just more capitalizing on it. Then there's a host of different pillars for branding, and there's so many different things you can read about it. But just for ease, here are some things that I find quite useful. So 5 components of a brand would be your position. So where are you now? Where do you want to be? Your brand promise. So this is, what do you do that's different? What do you promise your members or your consumers? The personality of your brand. Of course, this is a bit more difficult in financial services, because you do have the regulations and you do have the certain things that you have to do, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a personality. It doesn't mean that you can't have a bit of fun here and there, that you can't show who you are. The story of your brand. Again, all credit unions have such an amazing story. I mean, for the most part, a lot of credit unions have been around for 50 years or even more. So from where you've come to where you are now is absolutely outstanding. And from where our members have come from back then to where they are now is amazing as well. And then your brand associations. So what do people associate with your brand? But the main important thing with the 5 of these is that you have consistency. So consistency is key among all channels, among everything you do. Of course, brands can evolve and change, and different mediums have kind of different requirements, but you still need to be consistent. It's really, really important. So where do you start? Here's just some quick points on where you can start, so you can define your brand. So sit down with your board, sit down with your colleagues, even some members, define your brand and outline your brand values. From there, you can create your brand promise, design the brand identity. So this I would recommend doing with a design company. It's worth the investment. But once you have that done, you need to stick to it. Like I said, of course, brands can evolve and develop over time, or you may do a rebrand, for example. But aside from that, it needs to be consistent, and you need to stick to what you have with your brand identity. I'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. Differentiate with your USP. Be aware of your market position. This is very important as well. There's no point in saying that you are the most technically advanced financial institution if you're not. Be aware of where you are, because that's where you're going to be able to grow and create authentic relationships. Decide on your tone of voice, and again, stick to it, and create a universal multimedia brand experience. A tip here, just like I said, is be aware of where you fall short. There is not one brand in the world that is perfect, and if you claim to be perfect, you're just going to end up letting people down. So be honest and be authentic as to where you are and what you offer. So here's an example of some brands that do it right. As you can see, there's Coca-Cola, Apple, Brown Thomas, Starbucks, and Lush, all very identifiable, all very unique in what they do. Coca-Cola is great for having that community kind of bond. You have the Christmas ads, which I think brings joy to everyone. They had that amazing campaign a few years ago with the personalized bottles, etc. So they are really, really good with the family personalization. Apple are sleek, exclusive, high tech. Brown Thomas is just kind of that old school money almost, but you can see even with the branding, with what they do, the little bow here, the little bow here, these little touches are cohesive, they're strong. And obviously we all know Starbucks, you don't even need to have the word Starbucks, we know what it is, and Lush as well. They're really, really strong brands. And from that, I want you to kind of take a second and say, what do you think when you see these 5 brands here? So I'll be quiet for 1 second there. But basically, for me, what I see anyway, when I see them straight away, McDonald's is I'm loving it. Just Do It for Nike does exactly what it says on the tin for Ronseal. Carlsberg, probably the best beer in the world. Toyota, the best built cars in the world. These are things that are coming straight into my head, and they're what I'm associating the second I see these logos. So it's really, really powerful what these companies have done. And for instance, Ronseal, I don't think I've seen an ad for Ronseal in about 10 years, but I still remember exactly what their thing is, which does exactly what it says on the tin. And for these 3 in particular, so for Ronseal, Toyota, and Carlsberg, that's really powerful because they've actually linked their brand promise specifically directly in with the brand. They do what they say in the tin. They're the best built cars in the world, and those are probably the best lager in the world, or the best beer in the world. So it's really clever how they've done that you automatically have that association. Now, with regards to promises, like I just said, here is something that's probably a bit controversial, but one of our competitors, you've AIB. So this is an example of some brand promises and how they can and can't work. So for example, an honest and very good and strong brand promise from AIB was that they can do loans from €1,000 in 3 hours. This is really good because it's something that not all brands can do. Not all credit unions can do it, for example, and it differentiates them, and it's something that's deliverable and they can actually do. Then a questionable promise is their Backing Brave campaign. So I know that it's obviously nice. It's nice to show, different localities and communities in Ireland, but is it fully authentic? I wouldn't be 100% sure. And aside from that, I've heard a lot of consumers, a lot of people I know in my own life, bringing up this and, kind of, I'm not going to dog them now, but like making jokes about how true or not true it is. So if you do make a promise, you need to make sure that it's something that is true for your brand. And if it's not, it could actually do more damage than good. Now we'll just talk about the HSSCU brand briefly. So with us, guys, you can see, sorry, from the previous slide, we're red, red, red. We have grey as our secondary color, and then we use white as an offset color. And that is throughout everything we do. So to start off, I spoke about the brand identity earlier. So we have a brand identity guidelines document, and here you can see these are the main aspects of it. It's a 14-page document. It's nothing too intense, but it's really important because it has everything there for our brand and for continuing our brand. And if I ever need to reflect on it, I have it there. But also, if I was gone tomorrow and there was a new person in marketing, they have this toolkit, and it's really, really important for the brand consistency. As you can see, our logo, it's the kind of general credit union logo, but it was designed to communicate the values of us, which are quality, professionalism, modernity, the healthcare industry, community, and the international credit union movement. In recent years, since I started, we now use the HSSCU part by itself also, and that is because our membership base has greatly increased and is not just health services. So we don't always say health services staff credit union depending on where we're advertising, and that's an example of how a brand can grow and change a bit, but it's nothing too drastic with us. And here you can see there's examples of adverts and stuff like that as well. So it's all very key, and it's all very laid out. We have our logo examples, how it can be used, the coloring. We also have pages on how it can't be used in the document. And then we have our tone of voice here, which again is in the document, but just to move on to it for you guys, how can you get your brand tone of voice? So the first thing I suppose is to identify what's important to your consumers and your members. What language style do you normally have and is organic? So how are you chatting with members at the counter, over the phone, via email? What kind of way do they want to speak with you? There's no point in having all this high-tech, really in-depth language if it's not what people relate to. So just see what the genuine conversations are like, and then try and bring that into your brand tone of voice. What's appropriate for the platforms? I mentioned this earlier. Obviously, we do have regulations and restrictions, so we have to have very formalized important things such as savings caps letter or regulation letters. But that's different to social media, to our websites, to our e-zines, to on hold on the phone. We can be ourselves there. We can show our personality there. What do your members like to see and interact with? This is important. If you notice that there's one type of content or one type of conversation that they love and that they interact with, you should be mimicking that. You should be doing that again and again, and you should be doing it for different products and on different platforms. And then what's your brand promise? So with HSSCU, what we came up with this is all about community and people. We really want to do with our brand promise, we want to help our members to make memories. So that's something that we use a lot, particularly in our loan advertising. It's not take out a loan here and just take out money, great. It's no, you want to take it out to make memories, whether it's a holiday, whether it's to get that car to drive your family to somewhere you haven't been, whether it's to do up your home to improve your time with your family at home. You make memories. And then we also always put you first. So you'll see here this with our language kind of comes from that. So we use often in what we in our communications that we help our community, make memories, put you first, family, support you. It's all about our members in a community, and we also have progressive in there because I do think sometimes it can be lost in the fog. The credit unions can be progressive and can be very with the curve and even ahead of the curve. So I think it's important to have that shown as well. And as you can see, this needs to be the case on your phone language, your website language, in person, social media. They all need to tie in together. Then guys, you can see here our community. So this is what we show. So like you say, or like I said, making memories and putting you first. You can see it's all about the people. It's all about the community aspects that we're promoting, our members, their prize draws, our staff. It's all about the HSSCU community, and that goes over to our social media as well. This is our prize draw, and we really made it about making memories and making something fun. And it's just something that kind of portrays our brand, but also gets great engagement. Now, consistency I spoke about earlier, as you can see here from the Lucid Press in 2019, brand consistency is seen to increase your revenue by 33%. Please do not use different products and images on different platforms. Obviously, you can use some different ones, but have a key graphic for the most part. Try and stick to something that's going to be consistent and identifiable. I'll show you here now. For us with our car loans, we do have different images and we do have different videos, for example, but for the most part, this little boy in his car, this is going to be what we're using. And you can see it has the HSSCU driver's license plate there. So this is our website, our leaflet. This is our Google advertising, or our social advertising, I mean. This is social posts. This is in our e-zine. It's very identifiable. The second you see him, you know it's us. Here he's cut out and the background's cut out and he's on our red background. The red is there everywhere as well, and there's also touches of the grey. It's just consistent, and when you see it, well, hopefully when a member sees it, it pops into their mind that it's HSSCU, and it's just something that's easy to do. I mean, once you find that key image and you decide to use it, it's easy to implement, and it actually takes less time than trying to find new images all the time. But it's just something that's important when you're trying to get a message across, particularly when you've limited funding in comparison to competitors. Then guys, some sub-branding within a brand. I'm just going to show you some quick examples and I'll be done then. But our first-time buyer's mortgage is something we recently launched. And as you can see here, we have our key graphic, which is this couple. And you can see here, there's the same couple here, but it's a different image. So again, it's identifiable. The font here and the gray behind it is something that is unique to this product, and the circle is something that is unique to this product. So it's kind of like a sub brand within our brand. It still sticks to our gray or red or logo. Everything is cohesive to HSSCU or Make Memories, but there is the identifiable aspect for the product itself, such as a calculator, such as a circle. You can also see that I have different images here. So these are all of the images for this product. I have a little product or an image suite, and the reason for that is because I want to show diversity for the credit union. It's important when we speak about our community and we speak about putting people first that we actually do that. So for that, for us, I wanted to show an interracial couple. There's a Black family here, there's a gay couple here. It's showing the diversity there and showing representation. And these images are used throughout different media as well, but the primary focus and primary ads are this couple and this image. You can see here then as well, we have a first-time buyer's mortgage guide, which is coming out, and we have posters. Again, same image, slightly different design, purely based on the type of media. But aside from that, the font is the same, the coloring the same. It's very identifiable when you see this image that that is directly to do with the first-time buyer mortgage, and that's the product that it's promoting. Then I'm just going to talk about the HSSCU app quickly, because this meeting is about digital services. So with the HSSCU app, similarly, it's been sub-branded with regards to HSSCU. So as you can see, we have different phones here with different images of the app. This is our webpage, and we have hands all around as well. And that was something that was important to me when we were doing this campaign, because we wanted to have the app itself shown, and we wanted to show the actual interface, but we wanted the hands there to show that it's something that a person uses, that it's something for the community, that it's, you know, the kind of personal touch. And again, for diversity, we have different types of hands in different colors, people with tattoos, etc. And a tip for everybody for money saving and just for a bit of ease in general is to get cutout PNGs of everything. So I have these hands with the phones in individual PNGs from our design team. And from that, then I have them and I can use them for creating any social media content, any easing content, anything like that. I can do it myself very easily and for free on canva.com. So I think that's something that you can save a lot of money, and it can save a lot of time as well. You can see with regards to the app here on everything we do, this is our email auto reply, and we have again the different hands of different colors, different genders, the tattoos, everything that has the app on it has the logo with our phone, and we also always try to have Google Play and Apple App Store. So again, it's all that consistency there. And you can see in the next slide as well, this is this was a guide setting up the app in our AGM notification. This was the back of the notification, which had the app and had all of the hands and all of the consistent imagery there. And this was the front of the notification, which again, when the app was mentioned, had our hands and had the different consistencies there as well. So as you can see, it's something that's very important, just keeping everything in line together. And we added it to our physical membership application form as well. So guys, everything I mentioned there is just about brand consistency, how you can kind of bring in your own branding and how you can penetrate that in the market with your members and have it everywhere for you. Then with regards to some key results from our branding over the last 2 years or so, we've seen a 68% increase in online users. So we've gone from around 19,000 to over 33,000 users for the CU Online Plus and the HSSCU app, which is great. I mean, it's really good, because with that, we see a correlation that if somebody's using our online banking, they're more likely to take out a loan as well. And you can see that we have a 25% increase in the loan book, which is fantastic, particularly with COVID this past year. With new membership, we've had a 48% increase in new membership growth, and that's excluding transfers and engagement. So for example, in 2018, we had 2,847 new members. In 2020, we had 4,223. And for this year, we're going to beat that again. We're 16% ahead of this figure month on month for this financial year. So we're sure we're going to beat that as well. So it's great to see it continuously grow. And that is because the brand is getting out there more. When people see it, it's identifiable, and we're making things easy for them to interact with us. We've seen a 100% increase in our Facebook followers. So we've gone from 6,300 to over 12,600. We launched Instagram and have over 2,400 followers. I think that was about a year and a half ago we launched it. And then we've also seen a 160% increase in scholarship applications. Again, scholarships aren't necessarily something we make money off of, but what's really great is that it shows our brand values, which is that we're here for the community, putting people first, and we're helping them make memories because they're getting a degree that's going to literally be with them for the rest of their lives. So it's great to see the community engagement with that. So that's everything, guys. I hope I didn't go way over. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat box there now, and I will answer them at the end of this. But also, if you have any further questions, feel free to get on to Emma or Rebecca. They have my contact, and you can chat away to me. I'm more than happy to chat to anyone. Thanks very much, guys.
Padraig, thank you so much for that. That's a really brilliant presentation, and thank you for sharing those results as well. I think that really drills home the importance of branding and marketing, and just some really excellent tips there. So thanks for that.
No problem, thank you.
So now we're going to move on to Klaire Klos from Scottish Police Credit Union, who has pre-recorded a session on us on the importance of consistency in communication, or communicating with your members. So I'm just going to share that now. Of course, that happened. I have a backup. Give me a second, please. Thank you.
Just while Emma's sorting that out, actually, Liam did have something he just wanted me to pass on that he didn't include in his recording. He said he found the Institute of Banking module on data analytics for marketing particularly useful, and he also uses CU Insight for reporting on all the information within Scion, Google Analytics for website reporting, and their own telephone call analytics, and Power BI is a useful tool to amalgamate all this data in one place. So he just explained, if you have any questions about the data analytics module from the Institute of Banking or Power BI, feel free to contact him, and we'll include his email address in the follow-up email today. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. I'm going to share it now, and if you can just let me know that when you can hear it.
I will indeed. I can't hear it, Emma.
You can't hear it now?
No.
Oh dear. This is a great day, isn't it?
Hi there, I am
Perfect.
Klaire Klos from the Scottish Police Credit Union, and I am the Business Development Marketing Manager, and I'm going to talk to you today a bit about different ways to boost your member engagement. So we are a credit union exclusive to police officers, staff and their families in Scotland. We started in 1989 with only 78 members, and we now have over 11,400 members. I helped to establish and now lead the marketing team in the organisation, and we've had to define the technology needs of the Scottish Police Credit Union, and we've had to really work to introduce digital marketing into the organisation and to our members, from developing and launching our own app and members area on the website, to supporting our marketing through the likes of using Adobe and video creators over the years. So first of all, I'd like to touch on the ease and convenience strategy that we use in the Scottish Police Credit Union. So I would always say, get to know your members and what's right for them. What we do might not work for your members. However, we found that having digital services available 24/7 really works for our membership, because they work 24/7. We're not opened when they're not on shift. We find tutorials to help them through things work really well, and just a bit of encouragement to get them using digital services. Some people are very nervous if they've never used it before, or they aren't used to it, and it's something new that you're introducing, and they're not always keen to try it right away. But I would always say, give choices to them, but sell the benefits and the ease and convenience of being online and using digital. You're trying to keep it handy for them, and keep it simple. Anything that you're marketing I would keep it clear and simple. So to cover some ways that we engage our members and things that you can try, we regularly do email campaigns. We tend to send out a monthly marketing campaign to our members. We use one-click buttons a lot, so it takes them straight to where they need to be. Again, it's the ease and convenience for them. People are lazy. They don't want to have to go through hoops and loads of pages to find what they're looking for. So if you put it under their nose, we tend to find that works quite well. We use a lot of imagery. We don't like our email campaigns to be too text heavy because it just turns people off. They're not going to want to read what if you've got a lot of text, they're going to want to read what you're putting in your emails. So we tend to balance it off with quite a lot of images. We use social media to interact with a lot of our members and non-members. It's a great way of communicating any new products that you're trying to sell or anything happening in the business that you want people to know about, anything new that you've introduced. And we also use it as a light-hearted bit of fun. We do some social media posting that's just fun, and we like to share our member stories on it. We find that they interact very well on the post. You get members chatting to each other and just having a bit of a laugh on it. Text messaging is another form of member engagement that we use regularly and works well for us. So from as simple as we send happy birthday messages to our members. We've got it set up that on the morning of your birthday, you'll get a wee text just to wish you a happy birthday from everyone at the credit union. And it goes down really well. Members are really thankful to receive that text. It's just a nice touch to have and make them feel part of the credit union family. We let members know when their loans are approved and how quickly to expect their funds via text message. And we also use texts for payment reminders. If a member has a late payment or they've not been in touch, we'll just send them a little friendly reminder that their payment's due and to contact us and chat when they can. Again, it's about that personal chat at a time that suits them. So it may not be that if you're phoning them, you manage to get them because they're on shift, they're working. So it works really well if we just send them a wee text and they can see it and get back in touch when it suits them. We have our own bespoke app that we've started using recently a lot more. We can post news stories on it and we can get members to engage with us a lot better. They can send us messages, they can use the loan calculator and do instant withdrawals all at the touch of a button on their phone. And with our members, we do have a lot that prefer the use of an app rather than calling us. So it's a really important member engagement tool for us to have. And lastly, we still post, we still send annual updates and biannual updates to members that we just don't have an email address or a contact telephone number for. However, we do encourage digital sign up and these postals that we send out, and every year we do see more and more signing up digitally and just starting to feel confident with using those services with us. I would say that use all types of communication available to you. Don't limit it to just one. You've got to engage with all your memberships. There'll be different age groups and members will want you to communicate with them in different ways. The one thing that's worked really well for us is as soon as we sign up new members, we're now in touch with them to explain all the digital services that we've got, the benefits of signing up. We send them tutorial links on how to get signed up online and just how different things work. And that goes really well because if you've got them on right away when they start, they're going to continue that throughout their membership. It's not going to be anything scary to them further down the line. So analysing data and performance, this is something we do regularly on a weekly basis. We check up on how our marketing and digital services are doing. We check our email stats, so we check our open rates, click rates and unsubscribes. And it's really important for us to do that. We capture the key statistics monthly so that we can look back and trend them. We look at our member growth, our loan figures, our email stats, our social media stats. And if you start to see them dropping, then you need to ask yourself why. Is it something that we're not marketing correctly? Are we marketing too much of it and members are starting to switch off? So it's really, for us, it's really important that your member engagement and your digital strategy goes hand in hand with analysing it and having a look at the data that it provides you with. Did it do what you wanted it to do? If you're sending an email campaign or you're focusing your social media on a certain product 1 month, did it get that product growth that you wanted? Did your membership grow? Did it reduce your phone calls if you're focusing on do this online, 24/7 rather than phoning the office. Did that work for you? We always have a look at this. There's no point in doing your digital marketing and then not analysing any change, because if you've no change, then you need to change your marketing. Something's not quite right with the messaging you're putting out. So you will start to learn what works and doesn't work for your members as you start to analyse and trend it. And I've put this slide on here because recently I've been working with the NHS Credit Union of Scotland, and in March 2021 we sent out their first email marketing campaign focused on lending and their loan types, the ease and convenience one-click approach to applying for their loans, and just letting members know what they had to offer and how they could do this online. As you can see, that both their value of loans paid out each month and their number of loans drastically increased just with this small bit of marketing. So we have been sending monthly campaigns, and hopefully that this increase continues for them. Again, it's just been about encouraging the members to use the online facilities that were actually already there, but we had just never told the members about it and encouraged them to use it in a way that they would understand. So it really has started to pay dividends for them. So what did we change? We started speaking to and engaging the members regularly. So instead of just occasionally hearing about something once every few months, they were getting regular monthly email campaigns to update them on what was going on in their credit union and make them feel a part of what was going on. Emails, text messages, social media posts, all encouraging the use of digital services and what the credit union has to offer. We ran some competitions on their social media just to get members involved and feeling involved. Everybody loves a freebie, so it was great to see them all taking part in the competitions. Again, tutorials on using the digital services, short videos on what they had to offer and the key products. And again, if you change nothing, nothing will change. So had they not started on their digital transformation journey, then they would still be sitting in the same position. Their members still wouldn't know all the changes and the benefits of using the 24/7 digital service that they've got available. So the challenges with digital marketing, there's always challenges, but with challenges comes new opportunities. It's hard to keep your marketing fresh and attractive, especially if you are starting to market more often. You're marketing monthly or weekly to some members, and trying to keep the same messaging fresh is difficult. It's hard to keep your members interested. Some might not want to sign up monthly and receive emails so often. Others might want to be involved a lot more regularly, and it's hard to stay relevant. You always need to continue improving your digital services, take on board your members' feedback. It's the most important thing. And an example of us keeping our marketing fresh and attractive, we launched a campaign to just let people know that actually our interest rates are better than the banks. We were receiving a lot of members' feedback saying, I've got a better interest rate with my bank. Actually, do you understand that that's a representative rate and you're not guaranteed to get that until you go through your application? So we launched a marketing campaign just to say the rate you see is the rate you're guaranteed to get, and actually we can lend you more attractive than what the banks can. Banks usually won't lend less than £1,000 to you. So if you've got an urgent car repair bill, or you just need a new washing machine, something that you don't need a lot of money for, actually come to your credit union, because we can offer you that at a really attractive interest rate. So again, there's always challenges with the other markets out there, but there's opportunities as well. And what I would say is, don't be scared to try different things. If you don't try something, you're never going to know if it's worked. So it might fail, but it could have failed anyway, not trying it. Be friendly, it works for us. We just need to remember that members are people like you and me. They like to have a chat, they like you to be friendly with them, and a bit of lightheartedness. And I would say that images and videos are really important. It just keeps people interested, and you're a lot more likely to watch a video or read a picture than you are to read a text. And it needs to draw your attention. Whatever you're marketing, just make sure it draws your attention and it's quite catchy, and do plenty of walkthroughs and tutorials with encouragement on getting your members to sign up digitally with you. So looking ahead, although at the Scottish Police Credit Union we're already engaging with our members in a lot of different ways, there's still so much more for us to do. we want to look at focused marketing. So for those members who have never borrowed and don't have a need to borrow, then let's focus our marketing on things that are interesting to them. So whether it be our savings accounts that we've got, or getting a family signed up. And we also need to learn and understand why some members don't use our services or don't use our services correctly. We've got a lot more of the market to penetrate. Although we've got 11,400 members, that's only a very low percentage of market penetration. So that's something we're going to be working on. Keeping up with digital advances and just getting all our products online, getting our junior members online. There's just so much more still to be doing and looking ahead. It never really stands still. So yeah, don't stand still. There's always new opportunities, no matter how little they are. And if you change things bit by bit, there's always something. And I like this picture because it just reminds you that you're only scratching the surface. There's so much more underneath still to be doing. But yeah, I hope this is give you a little insight into ways that you can use to boost your member engagement and get them using your digital services. And thank you so much for listening.
Okay, great presentation there from Klaire, and we pass on our thanks for putting that together. I think that lots of great tips around member engagement. That's all our presentations for the day, everyone. I want to thank Padraig, Liam and Klaire for 3 fantastic presentations with just really great tips. Just before we have time for a quick Q&A, we want to emphasize that the reason we put on this webinar was because we did our survey earlier in the year through consensus-wide for both the UK and Ireland, and what came out consistently is a lack of understanding of the great services that credit unions provide across the board. Not in the customer service is always fantastic, but just in those digital services. So we thought this would be beneficial. Pop any questions you have into the chat bar. I do see there is a few there. Rebecca, I think this is for you. It's from Sinead from EDCU. Will you repeat the Institute of Banking course name, please? I think that was from Liam's.
Yes, of course. It was the Institute of Banking module on data analytics for marketing. I'll pop it in as a little message into the chat bar as well.
Thanks for that. And then Padraig, we have a question here from Deborah. She has said, thanks for a really great presentation. Do you find it difficult to keep your brand awareness when creating sponsored posts on Facebook? She finds that with all Facebook's rules around what you can and can't use on sponsored posts, I hear you on that one, your post ends up with no brand personality to it.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't do that many sponsored posts on Facebook. I find that it lessens the organic reach of our organic posts. What I tend to do with Facebook is I will do the Facebook ads or remarketing from our website, etc. But I think that when a lot of the time when you do a post from your Facebook page and you put money behind it, it's Facebook's way now of trying to get you to pay more and more going forward. So then they kind of get rid of your organic posts. So what I would recommend more so, what I think have found has worked for us is if we do, for instance, a competition at Christmas time or something like that, in the text of the post, I will put in a link to our Christmas loans webpage or, whatever the product may be, because those posts tend to get hundreds, if not thousands of likes and then loads of shares, and it gets really good, number one, click through, but number two, really good SEO help, or benefits your SEO for the webpage as well. I do find that e-zines are really, really good. So email marketing is really handy for getting direct click through to your website as opposed to some of the Facebook promotions.
Yeah, I think I would echo that as well. Even just from our own point of view, I think marketing across the board can be fairly universal, and we find that as well. And interestingly, with Facebook, when you try to target your audience, they say it's too narrow, which is always fun. That's exactly the point of targeted marketing. So we don't have any other questions there. I think just we are possibly running out of time. If anyone wants to unmute your mic quickly for a final question, please do. Otherwise, we'll probably leave it there and just thank all 3 speakers again for a brilliant presentation. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks again to Padraig, Liam and Claire, and we will follow up with their email addresses if you want to get in contact with them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye.